National Broadcasting Company presents Radio City Playhouse, Attraction 11.
Hollywood, California, Monday, June 29th.
Presents the finest in motion picture entertainment, Academy Award.
From Hollywood, Skippy, America's largest selling peanut butter.
Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn, and Jimmy Stewart.
The Lux Radio Theatre welcomes you all.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Drama and Theater, brought to you by Dwayne Old Time Radio. Before we get to today's drama, if you enjoy what I'm doing, let me ask you to subscribe to my channel. Subscribing is 100% free, and you will receive notifications on new posts. Lastly, if you have a moment, write a short 1 or 2 sentence review or give a rating on your preferred podcast service. A positive review or rating would help me out a lot. And now, on to the show. Lux Radio Theatre starts October. First episode is Beau Brummel with Robert Montgomery and Madge Evans. That one aired July 5th, 1937. And again, Amelia Earhart was planned to be a guest on this show, but she disappeared on July 2nd. So Cecil B. DeMille mentions that at the beginning of the program. Obviously, we all know now that she went missing and was never found, unfortunately. The second play is A Star is Born, starring Janet Gaynor and Robert Montgomery, and that one aired September 13th, 1937.
Hollywood, California, Monday, July 5th. The Lux Radio Theatre presents Robert Montgomery in Beau Brummel with Madge Evans and an all-star cast. Robert Montgomery, Madge Evans, Leo G. Carroll, Bramwell Fletcher, Jean and Kathleen Lockhart, and Edwin Maxwell. As special guests, we have Mrs. Wallace Reed, wife of the late idol of the screen. Mrs. Reed is associate producer of Monogram Studio. Our producer, Cecil B. DeMille. Our conductor, Louis Silvers. This program comes to you through the makers of Lux Toilet Soap as a means of showing you their appreciation of your pronounced preference for this fine soap, used by 9 out of 10 screen stars. Here or at home, we extend to you a hearty welcome to the Lux Radio Theatre. A girl's skin often tells a lot about the girl herself. If it's clear and smooth, you can't help feeling she's attractive, alert, and up-to-date. But sometimes her skin makes you believe she's the lazy, careless type. Or often, just from carelessness, from failure to remove cosmetics thoroughly, her skin can become dull and have tiny blemishes and enlarged pores. Signs of cosmetic skin. But by using Lux Toilet Soap regularly, you can guard against this modern complexion trouble. Lux Toilet Soap has an active lather that removes stale rouge and powder thoroughly. This gentle, pure soap guards against dangerous pore choking. Remember this simple beauty care. Follow it, and have the satisfaction of knowing that you are keeping your complexion at its very loveliest. Use Lux Toilet Soap before you put on fresh makeup, and always before you go to bed at night. Buy some Lux Toilet Soap tomorrow. And now, our producer, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. For the truest portrait of George Bryan Brummel, look outside your window tonight. His career, like the Roman candle that flares across the sky, emblazoned the earth for a while in brilliant glory, then dimmed forever and was gone. Born in England, while war was being waged for the independence we celebrate today, Beau Brummel was the sublime dandy of all time. He lived in an age of fashion and super sophistication, cutting his phrases with a tongue as sharp as the shears that styled his elegant attire. Not of noble birth, he cared nothing for those who were. He ruled society with audacity and invincible calm. A duchess once walked backwards out of a room because Brummel said her back was an offense to his eye. The lace of his boots, the blue of his coat, the number of buttons that decorated his trousers just above the ankles were as much the laws of England as if decreed by Parliament itself. That was Beau Brummel, who lives again on our stage tonight, as played by Robert Montgomery of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios. One of the few stars using the name he was born with, Bob's first job was that of an assistant railroad mechanic in charge of tapping wheels. After a spell as a deckhand, he joined the stock company and played 70 different characters in 72 weeks. He's president of the Screen Actors Guild, has ambitions to write, direct, and to see more of his farm in upper New York State. Unsurpassed in devil-may-care roles, Bob's done a turnabout in his current picture, Night Must Fall, delivering one of the year's best serious performances. Love, Live, and Learn is the title of his next film. Playing opposite him tonight in the role of Mariana is Bob's co-worker from MGM, Madge Evans. One of the best reasons why Hollywood is renowned for its beautiful women. An actress since childhood, Madge ranks high on the lists of the screen's most accomplished players. Our all-star cast finds Leo G. Carroll as Brummel's servant, Mortimer. Bramwell Fletcher as Reginald, Jean Lockhart as the Prince, Kathleen Lockhart as Mrs. St. Aubin, and Edwin Maxwell as Mr. Vincent. Somewhere in a distant corner of the South Pacific is Miss Amelia Earhart, who had planned at this moment to be on the stage of the Lux Radio Theatre. I know everyone hearing me now joins in our hope that the rescuers of Miss Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, will reach them swiftly and find them safe. I've just spoken with George Palmer Putman, husband of Miss Earhart in Oakland. Considerably more encouraged than he was yesterday, Mr. Putnam says that after a careful check of all reports, he believes the flyers are on land. He adds that they have adequate supplies which should last Miss Earhart and Captain Noonan until the arrival of rescue ships or planes. At the end of this hour, we have an important announcement for you. But now, on with the play as the Lux Radio Theatre presents Robert Montgomery and Madge Evans in Beau Brummel with an all-star Hollywood cast. In the year 1820, and our scene is the handsomely furnished dressing room of Beau Brummel. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, the fashionable hour of rising. Seated in front of his dressing table mirror, Beau Brummel appraises his reflection with a critical eye. His servant, Mortimer, hovers about, offering articles of dress and the gossip of the day.
Will you wear the yellow waistcoat, Mr. Brummel, sir? A yellow waistcoat with green trousers? Really, Mortimer? Must I appear on the streets looking like a canary?
Your pardon, sir. The tan waistcoat, of course, sir.
With the brocade, please. And a ruffled shirt this morning.
Yes, Mr. Brummel.
Now continue. What further news in London?
None of any account, sir. The Dowager Lady Slopington ran off yesterday with young Philip Pettibone.
If it happened yesterday, it must be forgotten today.
And Captain Badminton shot himself in the park last night, sir, after losing £10,000 at hazard.
It was very stupid of him. He should have shot himself first. Is he dead, Mortimer?
No, sir.
Really? Well, he always was a bad shot. You'll find some of his IOUs among my papers. Return them to him cancelled with my compliments. He can use them for plasters. And who has called?
Oh, nobody, sir. To be sure, there's been the usual crowd of people with invitations for dinners and balls, sir.
Yes, of course.
And the usual crowd of creditors with their bills and accounts. I said you were not able to see them because you had spent the evening with the prince, sir.
Please, Mortimer, you must be more careful. Tradespeople are apt to look upon dissipation very differently from persons of fashion. You may say what you like about our plump friend, the prince, but handle me a little delicately, please.
Your pardon, sir. Will you examine the bills, sir?
Certainly not, Mortimer. Hide them away somewhere where I can't see them, and I shall feel as if they've been paid.
Mr. Brummel, sir, there's one that came by messenger. A memorandum of your IOU for £1,000. The sum you lost to Lord Gainsbury 3 nights ago at the card table.
Ah, the deuce, Mortimer. That must be paid today. It's a debt of honor. How can we get the money?
I might try Mr. Abrams again, sir, but he was very difficult the last time.
Mr.
Brummel, sir, this can't go on much longer.
No, I hope not.
Everybody's pressing on you, and the only thing that keeps them off at all is your friendship with the prince. And if anything should happen to that...
Nothing could happen to that, Mortimer. And if anything did, I should cut the prince and make the old king the fashion.
If I might be so bold, sir, I've been wondering, Mr. Brummel, of the advisability of a rich marriage.
Yes, it has occurred to me occasionally. In fact, it's passed through my mind quite recently that it might be desirable. Only to decide on the person really seems too difficult a task for me to undertake. You would not have me marry a mere money bag, Mortimer?
But the great Mr. Brummel has only to choose, sir.
Yes, of course. But one desires some sentiment. I wouldn't care to make a loan for life and give myself for security.
Mr. Brummel, sir, have you ever observed Miss Mariana Vincent?
Yes, I've noticed her in the park. Her person is perfect. Is her matrimonial figure as good?
I believe it is £60,000, sir. But Mr. Vincent would be ashamed to offer so little to the wife of Mr. Brummel.
I should hope so. But if Mrs. St. Aubyn should hear of this...
Mrs. St. Aubyn has no claim upon you, sir. Her attraction for you is purely platonic. I've heard you say so.
Quite true.
And if you could present her to the prince, Mr. Brummel, don't you think a platonic friendship might spring up there?
She's ambitious, is Mrs. St. Aubyn, but she's clever. She'd never forgive a slight. Well, we shall see. Mortimer, write a letter to Mr. Vincent. Make my proposal for his daughter's hand. Be mindful of your language and careful to accomplish it in the most elegant manner. And request an immediate reply.
Yes, sir. But don't you think... what is it, Simpson?
Mr. Brummel's nephew, sir. Mr. Reginald Courtney.
Ask him to come in here.
Mr. Courtney?
Thank you. Good morning, Mortimer. Good morning, Uncle Beau.
Reginald, please. You are evidently laboring under the impression that I'm a great distance off.
Sorry, sir.
Good morning, Reginald.
Good morning. I hope you're well, sir.
No, I've contracted a cold. Now, I suppose everybody will have cold.
You can make anything fashionable, Uncle Beau.
Yes. Well, Reginald, I'm delighted to see you.
Thank you. The fact is, I've come on rather an important mission.
Important? And I'm afraid it'll have to wait.
What?
Till after I've had my chocolate.
But, Uncle Beau...
Discuss important questions before breakfast, my boy, is savagery in the extreme. Sit down, my boy, sit down. Mortimer, have Simpson put another cup on the tray. And make quite sure.
Another cup of chocolate, Mr. Reginald?
No, thank you, Mortimer.
Mr. Brummel, sir?
One, Mortimer. You know I always have only one.
Very good, sir.
Well, Reginald.
May I begin now?
Yes, I think so.
Well, Uncle Beau, I need your help and your advice.
Yes, of course. You haven't got yourself in any difficulties, I hope?
No, sir, not exactly.
I'm glad. You're the one person in the world, Reginald, for whom I have any real affection. I should hate to see you involved in anything from which I couldn't free you. Well, what is it, Reginald? If you're in debt, I'll give you a letter to Mr. Abrams. If you're in the doldrums, I'll give you one to Mrs. St. Aubyn.
I'm in neither, Uncle Beau. I'm in love.
Yes, that's worse than either. How do you know you are?
Why, well, I feel it. I live only when she's present and merely exist when away from her.
Reginald, don't talk like a family newspaper. Is your fair one possible?
If you mean is she a gentlewoman, she is, and besides, she's young and beautiful.
Yes, of course she would be. But does she return your passion?
She loves me, Uncle.
Yes, of course she would, but...
But her father doesn't.
Ah, yes.
He's refused to let me see her again. We have to meet secretly.
But why?
Because he has an eye on a title for her. He's rich enough now, and he's beginning to have social ambitions. That's all he cares about. But she doesn't care about anything. Only me.
Reginald, you're more conceited than I am.
Impossible, sir. No, I mean...
Never mind. What do you want me to do about your little romance?
I want you to help me to win over her father. I could do it, I think, if I were somebody in a social way. And you know everyone, Uncle Beau, all the way up to the prince himself.
And the king.
My
boy, you shall have the girl if I have to plead for you myself. That will hardly be necessary, of course. Come back tomorrow, Reginald, and I shall make you the most talked of, the most socially prominent young gentleman in London.
How, sir?
How? I shall allow you to be seen with me in public.
Uncle Beau!
We shall walk together through the park. Yes. And be seen together at the coffee shop for a few minutes. Well, my boy, can anyone possibly do anything more for you?
No, Uncle. Oh, yes, Uncle, you can do one more thing. I've left my purse at home. Will you lend me a couple of crowns?
Reginald, you know I never use silver. It's dirty and it's heavy. Ask Simpson for a few guineas as you go out. By the way, Reginald, it's just possible that I may enter into the golden bands myself. I am thinking somewhat of a marriage with a certain young lady whose charms, strange to say, very much resemble those you would have described had I permitted you to inflict me.
You marry, Uncle, you?
You think I'm too old, perhaps?
Oh, no, sir. Why, you're hardly over 40, sir.
36.
Yes, sir.
I'm very serious, Reginald. I think I may marry.
Then, Uncle, I'm glad for you.
Thank you, Reginald. Run along now. I have an early appointment with our stout Prince Regent. We're going to ride along the mall in his carriage. He thinks that jiggling on the cobblestones may reduce his weight.
Good day, sir. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate being seen out with you tomorrow.
Reginald, don't bombard me.
Oh, good day, Uncle Beau.
Good day, Reginald.
And if you will do me the honor to call upon me, or if I may do myself the honor of appearing on your doorstep tomorrow evening, I'm sure the association will be of mutual satisfaction. My very kindest greetings to your gracious and charming daughter, Mariana. Signed, your most respectful and most obedient servant, Mr. Beau Brummel. Beau Brummel. You hear, Mariana?
I hear, Father.
You know what this means, I hope. He wants to ask for your hand. Of course he does. He doesn't say so. But look here. 3 times he mentions your name, asks after your health. There's no doubt of it, Mariana. Mr. Beau Brummel wants to marry you.
Yes.
Well, you're a cold piece of goods.
Am I, Father? Perhaps it doesn't mean as much to me as it does to you.
It means a social position in London second to none. That's what it means. Why, I may even be given a title. When you marry Beau Brummel...
You mean if I marry Beau Brummel, don't you, Father?
What's this?
He hasn't asked me yet, and I haven't accepted him.
Mariana, are you mad? Am I to work all this time to marry you into a decent name and have it go for nothing?
We have a decent name, Father, and an honest name, too.
Yes, and with a little luck, the name of Vincent will be known throughout the court.
It's known there now, I think.
Eh?
They can read it on the buttons of their coats.
My dear, I am not a tailor. I am a cloth merchant.
You seem anxious to forget it these days.
I'm not. I've been a cloth merchant all my life, and a good one. Is that a reason why I shouldn't be an earl?
An earl? You are aiming high.
Well, a knight at least. I don't hesitate to say it.
Nor hesitate to use me to get it for you.
Now, Mariana, what's come over you? Another girl would jump at the chance to marry Beau Brummel.
Another girl may think that title and position are more important than
love. Now I see it. That young fool Courtney. He's the one who's turned your head. I really believe you'd marry Reginald Courtney, a fellow without a shilling to his name, and pass up the greatest catch of the day, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
Well, you shan't. Do you understand? You shan't. I've forbidden him the house, and I mean it.
Then I'll see him outside of the house. I have been seeing him.
Mariana.
I told you I would.
I should know better than to demand things of you. Now I must ask you not to see Reginald Courtney. I ask you, Mariana.
I'm sorry, Father.
It's for your own good, child. Believe me, it is. And it's for your own good to consider a proposal from Beau Brummel.
He's as penniless as Reginald. You know that.
But he has a name. A name.
Yes, a name for gambling, a name for philandering, a name for all the petty little vices that a man can have. Well, he won't make it my name. Because I won't have it. I won't marry him. And if he comes tomorrow, I won't even see him.
Mariana, come back here. Come.
I'm going to my room. Miss Mariana.
Well, I've been waiting for you to come.
What is it, Kathleen?
That young gentleman is here again, Mr. Courtney.
Reginald? Where is he?
In the garden, behind the tree near the back gate.
I'll see him. Wait here, Kathleen.
Yes, Miss Mariana.
Reginald.
Mariana, I thought you'd never get here.
I didn't know. Kathleen just told me. Here, we can sit behind the tree.
Let me look at you. Oh, you're more beautiful than you were yesterday.
I won't be if Father catches us. Come on.
I hate skulking about like this, but I had to see you.
I hate it more than you, darling. It's been horrible.
Oh, Mariana.
And now I suppose it will be worse than ever.
It can't be much. What do you mean?
Nothing.
Has your father been at my throat again?
As usual.
He won't be for long. I've got a little surprise in store for him and for you.
Surprise?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow what?
Tomorrow I shall go for a walk in the park. The rest is the surprise.
Tomorrow may bring more surprises than you think. In the evening, a gentleman is coming to call on me.
What?
Oh, a very fine gentleman. A gentleman whose hair is curled in the latest mode, whose buckles even are the latest to be seen, who smells of the very latest perfume.
Are you jesting, Mariana?
Worse luck, I'm not.
Who is the man? Why is he coming?
Oh, let's not talk of it, Reginald.
He wants you to marry him. That's it, isn't it?
I suppose so.
You must feel very flattered. A real gentleman.
Reginald.
It's a strange thing that he's allowed the front door while I have to sneak about hiding behind trees.
That isn't my fault.
Who is he?
Does it matter, darling?
I suppose you've sent your acceptance?
Reginald, please, if I'd known you were going to act like this, I shouldn't have told you.
Well, how do you expect me to act? Am I to stand by and watch some court dandy steal you away from me?
He hasn't stolen me yet.
Yet? Oh, I see. He might, though. There's a chance of it.
I didn't say that.
That's what you meant.
Oh, you're unreasonable.
You're not going to see him. You understand that? I won't allow it.
You won't allow it? I'm a little tired of having my life routine by other people. I'm a little tired of being told what to do and what not to do. Hereafter, I shall do what I like.
You refuse me, then?
I shall do what I like.
Very well, then. Marry him. Go on, take him.
If you continue to act like this, I shall.
So you marry to spite me. That's the kind you are.
I've a mind and a will of my own. I shall marry whom I like, when I like, and where I like.
Very well, then. I wish you happiness. Goodbye, Miss Vincent.
Goodbye, Mr. Courtney. Reginald. Reginald.
This way, Mr. Brummel. This way. I've prepared her for your visit. She knows you're here. Thank you. She's in the drawing room. Mariana? Mariana, my dear.
Yes, Father?
Allow me to present my daughter, sir. Mr. Beau Brummel, Mariana. Your servant, Miss Vincent?
Your servant, sir.
Oh, dear me, I just remembered. There was something I had to attend to. You'll excuse me, Mr. Brummel? Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Won't you sit down, sir?
Thank you. It was most kind of you to permit this rather informal visit, Miss Vincent.
I had a reason, Mr. Brummel.
Eh? And so had I. Perhaps you can guess it.
Perhaps.
I am glad. It will save us no end of tedious conversation.
And can you guess my reason?
Why, no.
Well, I'm glad, too. It must be very disconcerting to have one's thoughts so easily read by a complete stranger.
You have a ready wit, Miss Vincent.
Thank you. How is it you're not at White's this evening, sir? At the gaming table?
I'm tired of the cards, Miss Vincent. They are too fickle. And besides, I am always unlucky.
Unlucky at cards? Lucky in...
Love? Yes. That's why I'm here.
Well, what sort of a hand shall I deal you?
Yours, I hope.
Are diamonds trumps?
Oh, no. Hearts.
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't one in the past.
Then you deal your cards badly.
That is because I have chosen nature, not art, to be my mistress.
By my manners, I've a mind to bring Dame Nature into fashion again.
Then there's not a woman in London could show her face.
But you. And if you would deign to be seen always on my arm...
Always, Mr. Brummel? I fear you would wear me as you do your coat and throw me aside when I'm wrinkled.
Oh, please don't mention wrinkles. They give me the jaundice.
I cannot but remember that only yesterday, every bench in the mall, every lady's tea table, every entr'acte of a play was the occasion for reportings of Mr. Brummel's fancy for the Honorable Mrs. St. Auban.
You cannot imagine I have not favored some women more than others. Mrs. St. Auban was clever and amused me. We passed our time in laughter, not in loving.
And now she is out of favor.
On the contrary, she's greatly in favor with the prince himself.
You threw her to him then? As you do your styles and your worn-out quips?
You do the prince an injustice, Miss Vincent. But you're quite right, of course.
You're very frank.
Oh, no. Lying is one of the finer arts of life. But I never practice it unless there's a chance that I can do it justice. It would be a shame to waste a perfectly good lie on a person who doesn't believe it.
You're very amusing, Mr. Brummel.
Yes, I know.
Do you?
And I am in the hope, Miss Vincent, that I may continue to amuse you often.
Often?
If you will accept my escort into the social life of London, if I may have the pleasure of your company at Mrs. Honor's dinner and the Prince's reception, the Prince's reception.
Yes, I heard.
And your answer?
We shall see, Mr. Brummel.
Thank you. Your servant, Miss Vincent.
Your servant, sir.
Your most respectful servant, Miss...
Your most respectful servant,
Your
sir.
most ardent servant, Miss...
Your servant, sir.
Beau Brummel continues in the Lux Radio Theatre in a moment. In the meantime, let's imagine we're looking in on Stage B out on the Warner Brothers lot. Since 10 this morning, 64 girls have been rehearsing a tricky new dance routine. It's the last time through now, and the director is watching one girl in particular.
Come on! Get your feet up! Come on, Kelly! Watch me and keep time! 1, 2, 1, 2, now the finish! Right wing, left wing, together! No, terrible. Okay, that's all. Everybody on stage in costume at 10 tomorrow. And Peggy, Kelly, remember that foot change.
Oh, boy, am I tired. I just hurt all over. Oh, me too. You know, I almost wish I wasn't going dancing with Jim. Ah, don't worry. Remember how a Lux Toilet Soap bath peps you up. That's right, darling. Of course I'll feel brand new.
The active lather of Lux Toilet Soap removes perspiration and every last trace of dust and dirt. It leaves skin really fresh, delicately perfumed. You're refreshed, daintiness is protected. Once again, Mr. DeMille.
We return to Robert Montgomery, Madge Evans, and the story of Beau Brummel. 2 weeks have passed. Having received no further word from Reginald, Mariana has permitted Beau Brummel to escort her about London. It's the afternoon of the Prince's reception. Beau Brummel, in his drawing room, entertains the thoroughly jealous Mrs. St. Aubin.
You're very kind, Beau. But I don't wish to give up your devotion altogether. Not even for the princes.
Take both, Horatia. Mine you will always have.
Did you think me blind when you presented the Vincents at Mrs. Honor's and at Lady Marley's? I know your purpose. And I know your reason for presenting them at the prince's this evening.
I do no more for the Vincents than I've done for you. It was I who introduced you to the prince also. Fortunately, he's now very fond of you.
Oh, it was not for my sake you introduced me, but for your own. It was a pleasant way to get rid of me.
No way with such a destination could possibly be pleasant.
You puff the prince with the conceit that he is driving you out of my affections against your will. Suppose he should know the truth.
Royal personages are so rarely told the truth that if he did hear it, he wouldn't recognize it.
What would become of his friendship for you, do you think? And what would you do without it?
He would have my sincere sympathy.
Suppose I were to inform him?
My dear Horatia would not be so foolish as to ruin herself. Would the prince, do you think, still care for you if he thought I no longer admired you?
I will not be thrown over for the daughter of a cloth merchant. The prince shall know whom he is entertaining this evening, and he shall know why. I shall see to it.
Then you shall have my sympathy also.
Oh, no. You seem to forget, my dear Beau, that the prince already dosed on me. We're both playing a little game, you and I. But I am persuaded I shall win, for I stake on a heart.
Your fortune will turn, for you stake on a knave.
And the knave is you?
Exactly.
And what will take my knave when the king is out of the pack?
Why, then I think a queen might turn up.
And the queen?
Miss Mariana Vincent.
Oh, good day, Mr. Brummel.
Good day, Horatia. And the silver coat, Mortimer. We must be at our best this evening.
Quite right, Mr. Brummel.
There's no telling what may happen. But I have a feeling, Mortimer, that our troubles are almost over.
I hope so, sir. If Mrs. St. Aubin doesn't cook your goose, sir.
Cook my, Mortimer.
Oh, forgive me, sir. If Mrs. St. Aubin is not the cause of an altercation, sir.
It's better, Mortimer.
Thank you, sir.
No, I think Horatia's day is waning and Mariana's reign begins. I shall tell her so this evening. She can't be entirely insensible to my regard, to my love. Oh, strange to say, Mortimer, I begin to think I do love Mariana.
Sir?
Yes, I believe I do. And I think I love her madly. Yes. Yes, I do. I love madly.
Everyone is laughing at the prince behind his back.
To take a cap off for his lady. He'll wake up to it soon, and when he does, there'll be a... Very fine.
Mariana Vincent. They say she's a cloth merchant's daughter. Cloth merchant? Well, she'll keep Beau Brummel in waistcoats anyhow.
There he is, Beau Brummel, by the garden door with the prince and the playwright Sheridan.
The prince knew what was going on under his nose. He'd give Sheridan enough for a new play.
Make very much difference.
incredible lack of scandal and gossip these days. I really don't know what we're coming to, Your Highness.
Quite true, Sheridan. The ladies have absolutely nothing to talk about, eh, Beau?
Yes, Your Highness. Oh, Sherry, I hear the School for Scandal is to be revived. It returns to us every year like spring and the influenza.
Yes, but it won't be played as it used to be.
No, I hope not.
Good, Beau. Good.
As a matter of fact, I'm now writing a new play.
Don't put me in, Sherry, or if you do, mind you make me thin. A fat man played me in the pantomime the other night, and I had him locked up.
It was a libel, sir. A gross libel.
Your Highness. Oh, my dear Beau. Good evening, Manley.
You wish to see me, Manley?
I did. My dear Beau, something terrible is happening.
Well?
Lord Crawlings is cheating at the card table. It is a fact he has cards up his sleeve. What shall I do?
Cheating at the card table?
Yes, he has cards up his sleeve.
Cards up his sleeve?
Yes. What shall I do?
Well, if he has cards up his sleeve, bet on him.
Oh,
thank you.
Oh, good, Beau. Very good. I must remember that. Oh, I promised the next dance to Mrs. St. Alban. I really must go. Your pardon, Beau?
Of course, Your Highness. I have an engagement myself. Mariana.
Mr. Brummel.
I've been waiting to find you alone. I saw you come out in the garden.
Yes?
May I sit down?
Of course.
Mariana, I'd like to speak with you seriously.
To what purpose, sir? Or shall I guess again?
To make a confession. You know it, perhaps, but I want to tell you myself. When I first asked for your hand, Mariana, I neglected to bring my heart. I admired you, yes, but I didn't love you then, not madly. You were right, you see. Diamonds were trumps. But my admiration deepened first into esteem, and then became more. Much more. There is my confession, Mariana. I sought only your fortune at first. Now I seek you.
Mr. Brummel.
Yet were you penniless. I wouldn't marry you.
Oh.
Because I wouldn't drag you down to share this miserable, uncertain lot of mine. That is the only reason, and it's a true one.
I begin to believe in you.
I remember no other word that you have spoken. May I kiss your hand?
I think I'd rather you didn't.
I believe you're right. Yes, I'm quite sure you are. Thank you. You have saved me from doing something very commonplace.
You aren't angry.
I believe it's exactly 15 years since I last lost my temper. But, Mariana, I still await your answer. It's rather a new sensation for Brummel to be kept waiting.
You'll wait no longer, then. Not in this house.
Your Highness.
So this is how you use my hospitality, Brummel, to further your financial affairs with a miserable cloth merchant's daughter.
Oh, don't distress yourself, Mariana. It's nothing. But His Highness has been dancing with Mrs. St. Alban.
And what if I have?
You are not angry, my lord, because Miss Vincent's father is wealthy. It is something far deeper, I think. Something you discovered about your certain attraction to Mrs. St. Alban.
Curse your impudence.
Softly, my dear prince, or you'll make a fool of yourself.
I'm tired of your impertinence, Brummel. You're out of favor. Do you hear?
Could I help but hear? Yes. My dear prince, first you lose your equilibrium, and now you lose your temper. Have a little snuff.
You may keep your little snuff. He knocked it out of his hand.
Listen, Dad, the prince knocked it out of his hand.
Very bad manners. Very bad. I shall have to leave at once. Your Highness, order my carriage.
Why, you upstart.
I tell you, Mr. Brummel, sir, it's the talk of all London.
Yes, my chocolate, please. What is the talk of all London, Mortimer?
Your insult to the prince, sir. Last night at the reception.
Oh, yes. Well, it's all over now. The prince has probably forgotten it. I have.
Your creditors hadn't, sir. It was your friendship with His Highness that saved us before, but this morning there were 2 bailiffs at the door, sir.
Bailiffs? Disgusting. What did they want?
They were sent by your creditors to arrest you, sir.
Well, if they come again, you may reassure them, Mortimer. You may tell them I have an appointment this morning with His Highness.
Oh, have you, sir?
No. But I'll be riding through the park with Mr. Sheridan. We're sure to meet the prince's carriage. We'll stop and talk.
If he should cut you, sir.
Then I shall cut him back. But he won't, Mortimer. Have no fear.
There it is. The prince's carriage. It's coming this way, Beau.
Ah, yes, the prince. Dear fellow.
He's stopping. Thomas, stop the carriage. Good morning, Your Highness.
Good morning, Sherry. I'm delighted to see you.
Thank you, Your Highness.
Out for a drive, huh?
Yes, Mr. Brummel and I...
Beautiful day for it. Beautiful. Good day.
But, Your Highness, wait.
Would you like to drive with me, Sheridan? Come along, then. Come along.
Well, Why, yes, Your Highness. Thank you.
Oh, Sheridan.
Yes, Beau?
Tell me, Sheridan, who is your fat friend?
Why, you... Mr. Brummel.
Drive on, please, Thomas.
Mariana.
Yes, Father?
Mariana, you've heard the news?
Yes. Mr. Brummel is a daring man.
He cut the prince. Cut him dead, begad. And all for me.
For you?
Well, wasn't it? Beau Brummel is not the man to stand by and see his future father-in-law insulted. No, begad. He cut the prince last night, and again this morning. For me.
I thought he did it partly on my account, Father.
Yes, for both of us. But it's you alone, who can repay him.
I?
With the money your dowry will bring him.
Oh.
With that, he can pay off his creditors and defy the prince. Without it, he's ruined. Ruined, Mariana. The bailiffs are at his door even now, and... Shall we go to him, Mariana? He needs his friends now, what he has left of them. And you owe him your gratitude. You owe him your sympathy.
And they must take the place of affection?
Yes, Mariana. You have no other attachments now. You've neither seen nor heard anything of that young scoundrel Courtney for weeks. Or have you?
No.
Well, then. Well, Mariana?
You may order the carriage, Father.
Thank you. Thank you, Mariana.
And that is why I've come, Mr. Brummel. Your regard and protection leave me much in your debt.
Please, don't let that debt weigh any more heavily on you than do my debts on me. One smile of yours has overpaid me, Mariana.
If your creditors were as easily satisfied as you are, I should be prodigal of my smiles.
And if your smiles were the coinage, I think I should turn miser.
You're not practical. I must make you so.
I am your slave, and the chains I wear are no burden. May I indeed hope that you will accept my humble service, that you will be my wife.
You have my gratitude and my respect.
And may I hope you will learn to love me a little?
I hope so. I'll make myself forget.
Who is it? Uncle Beau! Reginald! That crowd of men at the door, what is it? Oh, you're staring, Reginald? That's very impolite. Miss Vincent, my nephew, Mr. Courtney.
Your nephew?
Miss Vincent and I have met, I think.
Really?
Why didn't you answer my letters?
Letters? I received no letters from you.
What? I wrote every day from Scotland.
Reginald, you...
I mean, I begged your forgiveness, laid open my heart to you, and for all my pains received nothing.
But I tell you, I had no word. My father must have held them from me. Oh, Reginald, I would have forgiven you. You know I would have forgiven you. You know I would.
Mariana...
One moment, please. I'm at a slight disadvantage here.
Uncle Beau, this is Mariana.
Yes, I know.
The girl I told you about, the girl I wanted to marry and still do.
Reginald, don't.
I begin to understand. You love her, Reginald?
Yes.
You love him, Mariana? Yes, I can see it in your eyes. Well, then, there's nothing to do, of course. But, what? Take care, my boy.
No, Reginald, you can't. It's too late. I've already promised.
But I release you from that promise.
You mean that... Oh, I see.
You see very little, Reginald.
Well, you can't do this. You know what it means.
It means I will see two very young people very happy.
Mr. Brummel, sir, Mr. Brummel.
Yes, Mortimer.
His Majesty's bailiffs, sir. They're at the door. They won't be held off any longer.
Softly, Mortimer, softly, always.
Bailiffs? Then they're going to...
Nothing, my boy, a mere formality. Tedious but necessary.
No, I'll speak to my father. He'll help you.
I have no claim whatever on Mr. Vincent. Now, Reginald, take her. Wear her very near your heart for my sake. I would stay with you longer, but I fear it's impossible. I happen to have a rather pressing engagement with His Majesty.
We pause for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Robert Montgomery and Madge Evans resume our play shortly. My association with the woman from whom we now hear goes back some 20 years, when the Clark Gable and Robert Taylor of the day was her late husband, Wallace Reed. I'd seen Wally playing the blacksmith in The Birth of a Nation, and lost no time in placing him under contract. It was then I first met our guest, Wally's wife, known professionally as Dorothy Davenport, one of the screen's important actresses and often his leading lady. Now an associate producer, she's one of the handful of women in Hollywood occupying a position of such responsibility. Mrs. Reed has just returned from 2 months in the Samoan Islands, where she took a production unit for Monogram's new picture, Paradise Isle.
Thank you, C.D. And there, incidentally, I ran into a situation that I think should interest listeners of the Lux Radio Theatre. Before I left for Samoa, I was advised to add soap to my stock of trinkets, chewing gum, and whatnot. But the natives went for it in a big way. So, having been Lux-conscious for many years, naturally that was the soap I took in large quantities, expecting to make an especially good impression with it. To my surprise, the natives accepted my sweetly scented gifts most casually. But I soon learned why. Lux is always in stock at the Navy Commissary in Samoa and available at the local stores. So, you see Lux toilet soap's no novelty, even in the South Seas. The natives are accustomed to its use as we are here in Hollywood.
What sort of motion picture actors did the natives make?
Oh, excellent ones. But they're apt pupils at anything. The entire population of the village, in fact, we chose it as a base, about 150 strong, appointed themselves assistants and were very proud, serious, and efficient about their work. Our only real difficulty arose when we imported dancers from another village. They flatly refused to share honors, so close shop it was. But really, the Samoans are charming people. They're happy, generous, and most hospitable. Much too hospitable.
What do you mean by too hospitable?
Well, they continually had feasts in our honor, and as the unforgivable offense is refusing their hospitality, we spent many hours sitting cross-legged on hard floors, trying to toy convincingly with their most special delicacies. No feast there is complete without a pig, served definitely on the rare side. And their poi is really something. Sort of a saturate solution of squashed ripe bananas and coconut milk. Apparently I got away with it, for I was duly and solemnly anointed chiefess of the village. A very moist occasion as the elements outdid Somerset Maugham. For 3 hours I sat responding, via interpreter, of course, to flights of oratory while rain poured down my back and coconut oil down my face.
So they must have recognized your executive ability, just as we have in the picture business. But Dorothy, can you tell us why there are so few women producers in films?
Mainly, I believe, because, well, men have an instinctive and innate resentment against taking orders from women. After all, it's a natural reaction, for women have been on the receiving end since civilization began. Personally, my experience with men in business has always been pleasant. And I believe any woman can work successfully with men if she'll try to meet them on their own ground and get their slant on things. When business women learn to appeal to men's logic and instead of leaning on their chivalry, they get along lots better. It seems like a very good cue for me to get along. Thanks, CB, and as we say in Samoa, so far.
So far to you, Dorothy. Once more, the story of Beau Brummel starring Robert Montgomery and Madge Evans. With the passing of the years, passes the reign of Beau Brummel. His friends have gone with his fun, and his elegance with his friends. In a poorly furnished lodging house in France, he makes a vain pretense at appearances, trying desperately to retain an outward show of his former glory. But his hair is gray, and his clothes long out of fashion show the wear of years. Mortimer, still faithful, stands beside him in the uncarpeted room.
Well, Mortimer?
No letters this morning, sir.
Not even one?
Not even one, sir. Unless we count the bill.
Hardly.
Will you have your chocolate now, sir? It's all we have, but it's something. And you've eaten nothing for days, sir.
I'm not hungry, Mortimer.
Oh, but, sir...
I said I am not hungry. Could you make no further loan?
No more, sir. I tried everywhere. No one will trust us anymore.
Mortimer, what will become of us? Think what the finest gentleman of his time is undergoing. It's enough to drive one mad.
Have you nothing more you could sell, sir?
My last snuff box. You would not have me dispose of that, Mortimer? Paltry trifle that would bring nothing? No, there's nothing, Mortimer. Everything belongs to that wretched female creature who dignifies this hovel with the name of lodging.
If only you would permit me to write to Mr. Vincent, sir.
No. I've told you that neither Mariana nor Reginald must know. They're married. They're happy. Let them forget.
Then the prince, he's now in France, I hear.
The prince is king. Have you forgotten? No, Mortimer. It's bad enough I've come to this level without having people know of it. We shall write to no one.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mortimer, it's our hostess, the landlady. Offer her a chair.
I want no chair. Your Mortimer had better offer me some rent money, or out you go. I've warned you, Mr. Brummel.
Your chair, madam.
I'll stand.
Then sit in it yourself, Mortimer. I cannot permit you to stand. You're tired. I'm so sorry, my dear madam, that I have nothing to offer you. The supplies for which Mortimer went out a short time ago have not yet arrived.
Well, when they do, they'll not pass my door. I'll tell you that.
Do, my dear madam, do help yourself. And speaking of helping yourself reminds me, would you mind returning some of my shirts? I'm sure you cannot wear them yourself. Mortimer?
Yes, sir.
How many were there in the wash last week?
12, sir.
Yes, and now if you wouldn't mind returning...
I'll do nothing of the sort. I'm sick of your fine manners. I want more of the money and less of the politeness.
You mean, my dear madam, you want more of the politeness and less of the money?
You pay me today, or out into the street you go. Your polite talk may do good there. It may do for the stone, but it will not do for the flesh. Not for this flesh. Pauper.
Mortimer.
Yes, sir.
What did she call me?
Pauper, sir.
Pauper? She's right. And that's what hurts. Mortimer.
Yes, sir.
My snuff box, please.
There's no snuff in it, sir.
My snuff box, please. And my brown coat. I'm going out for a walk. Well, what's it worth? What will you give for it?
Snuff boxes are a drug on the market these days. I have 30 of them in my shop now.
This one is rather special, of course.
They are all of silver?
It was given to me by the prince. Now George IV of England. I dare say that doubles or even triples its value.
Monsieur, the donor is no concern of mine. I look only at the silver. This one is good in that respect. Therefore, I can offer you 100 francs.
100? Let me have that snuff box, please.
It's worth no more?
Let me have it.
Well, if you wish. I am in business, monsieur. I have to eat.
Fortunately, sir, I do not. Good day, sir.
Good day.
Well, sir, any luck, sir?
Here. You may carry this home again, Mortimer.
He wouldn't buy it, sir.
I would not sell it. A paltry 100 francs. 100 francs,
Oh, Mr. Brummel, sir, are you ill? Take my arm, sir. Lean on me.
On the street, Mortimer? No, not on the street.
Well, you're pale, sir. Your arm is trembling.
Stand away, please. I can walk. Alone.
Oh, Mr. Brummel, sir. Help here, help. He's fainted. Well, doctor, is he any better, doctor?
Very little. He's conscious now, but a little delirious, I think. Does he always ramble on that way about courts and ladies and fashions?
At times, yes, sir. He thinks he was once a great gentleman, sir.
Pity. There's nothing much more I can do for him.
You mean, sir?
Yes. I'm sorry. Very sorry.
Thank you, sir.
If you should want me again, don't hesitate to call.
Thank you.
Mortimer.
Coming, sir. Coming. At once, Mr. Brummel, sir. Yes, sir.
Mortimer. That man who was here just now. Mr. Sheridan?
Yes, it was, sir.
Yes, I thought so. Mortimer, I hear carriage wheels. Someone else is arriving? Carriage wheels? Observe me, Mortimer. How do I look?
Oh, very, very well, sir.
Am I quite correct, Mortimer? Are there creases in my cravat?
I should not wish to make creases the fashion. Oh, Mr. Brummel, sir, you're quite the fashion. Do your post, then, and ask the musicians to play. Please, sir, please, there are no... Mortimer, is that someone at the door? Yes, sir. Then open it, man, open it. Yes, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Mortimer.
Oh, Miss Mariana.
Where is he, Mortimer?
Oh, Mr. Reginald, I'm so glad you could come.
I came as soon as we had your letter.
Is he still so ill, Mortimer?
Oh, very ill, sir, very ill.
Why didn't he tell us? Why didn't you let us know sooner?
He wouldn't permit it, Miss Mariana. His pride.
Take us to him.
Yes, sir. But if he acts strangely, sir, please to pay no attention. He's not himself, sir. Good evening. Mr. Brummel, you shouldn't be up, sir. Not up. Not up when I have guests to receive. But who is this?
Mr. Brummel.
Uncle Beau. Reginald, Mariana. Well, sit down, sit down. Some wine, Mortimer. We must celebrate with wine. Wine, sir?
Oh, I don't wish any.
Nor I, Mortimer.
Thank you, sir. Oh? Never mind, then. Mariana, let me look at you. I've never forgotten you, Mariana. Never.
I've never forgotten you. Oh, how kind you were.
Even in all the rush of my life. And I have been busy entertaining, you know. I've always remembered your pretty little face, my dear. And your laugh. Mr. Brummel, sir, will you sit down here, sir? Thank you. Thank you. Sit down, Reginald. You must be tired after walking up all those steps.
It is high, sir.
Yes, but the air is so much purer. I'm expecting guests, Reginald. Mortimer, 2 more for dinner. Yes, Mr. Brummel.
Mr. Brummel, you must come away from here, back to England, with us.
Come away? But my engagements, my dear, my engagements. There's that bell again. No, don't go. You won't leave me, Mariana? You won't leave me, will you?
No, we'll stay just as long as you like.
Mortimer? The door. Yes, sir. Your Majesty.
Mr. Brummel, please.
Who is it, Mortimer? Mr. Brummel, sir. It's His Majesty, the King.
Good evening, Beau.
Your Majesty. Is it real?
Yes, Beau.
You must pardon me for not rising. I'm forgetting my manners.
Stay seated, Beau. You've hidden from us long enough. If your servant hadn't sent the snuff box to me, I should never have known where you were.
The snuff box? Oh, yes. I told you to send it to His Majesty, Mortimer. Why, yes, sir. Oh, of course, I remember now.
My dear Beau, we don't mean to lose you again. We stop with you tonight, and tomorrow you dine with us in London.
Dine? At what hour? At 8, Your Majesty, at 8.
Yes. At 8 o'clock, Beau.
8? Mortimer, have I any other engagement? No. Oh, no, sir. Then I shall have much pleasure, Your Majesty. Mortimer. Yes, sir. Mortimer. Yes, sir. Should anyone call, say I have a rather pressing engagement with His Majesty. Beau. His engagement, sir. With Her Majesty even higher than you, sir. Oh.
And so do we conclude our play and bring you as themselves our Beau and Belle, Robert Montgomery and Madge Evans.
I'm grateful, Mr. DeMille, for the chance you gave me tonight to enact the story of one of society's most colorful characters. Beau Brummel brought to a sort of climax a taste for fashion that gentlemen had cultivated for centuries, sometimes a most peculiar taste. Back in Queen Elizabeth's time, for instance, it was the gentlemen who wore corsets, even Sir Walter Raleigh.
And not long after, earrings and spangled garters decorated the nobility. Pirates, too, were the paragon of foppery, decking themselves out in Utrecht velvet and Malines laces.
Then I don't think men should say a word about women today who spend a lot of time trying to make themselves look nice.
No, I agree, Madge. The danger for a woman is spending too little time on her appearance rather than too much.
And that's just as true about complexions as about clothes. Those of us in pictures realize probably better than most people the importance of clear, smooth skin. I'm sure that's the reason for the popularity of Lux toilet soap in Hollywood. We use it because we're just as fussy about complexions as Beau Brummel was about the cut of his waistcoat. It's been my favorite for a good long time. But, Bob, what do you have to say for yourself? When are you going back east to plant a few potatoes on that farm of yours?
They'll have to be fall potatoes, Madge, because I doubt if I'll get away until September.
It must be quite a thrill to the people back there to have you as a neighbor.
Well, I sort of doubt that, and I can prove it. One night last year, just before I was about to return to Hollywood, I drove over to say goodbye to my nearest neighbor, a couple of miles away. It was after 9 o'clock, so he had to get out of bed and come down on the porch where I was waiting. I've known that man for several years. He's a great friend of mine and the best farmer I know. Well, we talked crops for a few minutes, then shook hands and said goodbye. I could tell he had something on his mind, but I'd walked way down to the gate before he called me back. I stepped up on the porch again. He looked all around to make sure that no one was eavesdropping, and then he said, "I say, Mr. Montgomery, I hear you're an actor."
I don't know what you answered, Bob. But if he's listening in tonight, he's learned that you're one of the best. And to you, Madge, and to you, Bob, our thanks for a very fine performance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert Montgomery and Madge Evans. This is your announcer, ladies and gentlemen, Melville Ruick. Mr. DeMille returns to the microphone in just a moment. Our cast tonight included Ralph Kellard as Richard Brinsley Sheridan, Doris Lloyd as Kathleen, Lou Merrill as Broker, Wallace Roberts as Simpson, Frederick Sewell as Lord Manley, John Lake as the Doctor, and Lillian Castle as Landlady. Mr. Montgomery and Miss Evans appeared through courtesy of Metro Goldwyn Mayer Studios, Mr. DeMille, Paramount, and Louis Silvers, 20th Century Fox, where he's in charge of music for the new film, Wee Willie Winkie. And now, our producer, Cecil B. DeMille. Every week, since October 1934, the play has been the thing in the Lux Radio Theatre. With the rise of the curtain each Monday evening, I've hoped that our labors of the week would bring you another hour of glamour and entertainment. In the Lux Radio Theatre, 28 men and women work every day of the week. Writers adapt for our stage, the plays that you want to hear. Casting directors comb lists of talent. Securing the stars and supporting cast that will best fit the roles. Rehearsals are scheduled regularly. We work each week, not with the same cast and the same play, but with new people and new vehicles for every Monday night. In the past year alone, 1,072 parts have been enacted in the Lux Radio Theatre. 52 plays have been produced. The figures showing the number of listeners to our program during the year are truly amazing. Adding together the audiences of the last 52 weeks, check-ups show that we have had over 600 million listeners. Of course, this huge number is accounted for by the fact that millions of our listeners tune in loyally week after week. We've enjoyed presenting this theater this year of drama over the air tremendously. It's been a year of genuine pleasure to us, as we sincerely hope it has been for you. But frankly, ladies and gentlemen, the staff of our theater is weary. Our sound effect man, always a master of understatement, said, "I do get tired once in a while." Our sponsors, being the kind of generous and cooperative people they are, readily agreed to a vacation period. So it has been decided that while so many of our audience are vacationing, we in the Lux Radio Theatre, too, will have a holiday. Therefore, when the curtain rings down tonight, those behind the scenes will lay down their stage braces, and the script book will be closed for 2 months. Mr. Louis Silvers, our musical conductor, will put aside his baton and go as fast as he can to a favorite spot in Mexico. Our technicians, directors, and writers will all seek a change of scenes. Personally, I'll remain in Hollywood, where I'm about to begin the filming of my new picture, The Buccaneer. So I hope for a little time at the ranch. Early in August, we all expect to be back in Hollywood making preparations for the new season. Already there are piles of manuscripts and lists of names, many of which we hope to put in lights on the marquee of the Lux Radio Theatre beginning September 13th.
There are people in Hollywood you want to hear. There are plays you want presented. I also know you'll join me in saying goodbye and good luck to all who've worked with me here in the Lux Radio Theatre this season. I don't ask you to think of us during the summer, but I'd like to suggest that in September you be prepared to hear from us again. On the 13th of September, the lights of the Lux Radio Theatre will flash on. Our curtain will rise on a new season, and we'll be at work with renewed vigor and purpose at the most pleasant task I know, producing entertainment for you. This is Cecil B. DeMille wishing you a happy summer and saying good night to you from Hollywood.
From Hollywood, California, the Lux Radio Theatre presents Janet Gaynor and Robert Montgomery in A Star is Born.
Lux presents Hollywood. Back on the air again after a summer vacation, our first production brings you Janet Gaynor, Robert Montgomery, Lionel Stander, and May Robeson in one of the greatest stories the screen has ever known, A Star is Born. With us also, here on the stage of the Lux Radio Theatre on Hollywood Boulevard, we have as guests Sid Grauman, founder and managing director of one of the most famous motion picture theaters in the world, Grauman's Chinese, and John Leroy Johnston, managing editor of Screen Book and Hollywood magazines. Conducting our orchestra is Louis Silvers. And now, I turn the microphone to our producer, discoverer of stars, director of 63 motion pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. 9 weeks have passed since I last stood here to ring up the curtain in the Lux Radio Theatre. Tonight we return, as we shall every Monday night at this time, bringing you Hollywood's celebrated stars in the most distinguished plays of stage and screen. We've had a vacation, but more than that, we've had an opportunity to plan ahead. As a result, the greatest series of dramatic treats it has ever been our pleasure to offer is in store for you. We alone could not have made this possible. You, through the friendship shown our products, are equally responsible. For a fitting inaugural, we made a long and careful search. We found it in the stars and story we're about to bring you. Janet Gaynor and Robert Montgomery in the brilliant Technicolor screenplay from Selznick International Studios, A Star is Born. From these same studios has recently come another record-breaking film, The Prisoner of Zenda, which, starring Ronald Colman and featuring Madeleine Carroll and Douglas Fairbanks, Jr., is now duplicating the sensational success of tonight's story. Miss Gaynor's performance in A Star is Born is bringing her a national acclaim, approached only by her debut performance several years ago in Seventh Heaven. She was scarcely more than a child then, and if you could see her now, you'd realize she's still a little girl. In fact, there's only 100 pounds and 5 feet of her, topped by large brown eyes and dark red hair. Among her treasures is a little pair of black low-heeled shoes that once pattered from studio to studio as their owner searched for work. They never stopped at my door. I wish they had. As Esther Blodgett, Miss Gaynor makes her first appearance in the Lux Radio Theatre. Compared with her, our co-star, Robert Montgomery of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios, is a veteran. His portrayal tonight of Norman Maine is his fourth on our stage. Bob's popularity wherever pictures are shown, his versatility in all kinds of difficult roles, leaves me little more to say than welcome home to an old friend of our theater. Bob's new MGM picture with Rosalind Russell is Live, Love, and Learn. Lionel Stander resumes the role he played on the screen, Libby, the publicity man. Also from the original cast as Granny comes that actress now in her 54th year of trooping, May Robeson. Lou Merrill is heard as Oliver Niles. And now for our play. The Lux Radio Theatre returns to the air, bringing you Janet Gaynor and Robert Montgomery in A Star is Born. isolated farmhouse on the windswept plains of North Dakota. The house is silent, sleeping, but moonlight streams through the window of one of the upstairs rooms, where a young girl is still awake. She lies across her bed, sobbing quietly into the pillow. The door is inched open, and an elderly woman in an old flannel wrapper calls to her softly.
Esther.
Yes, Granny?
Oh, I thought you'd still be up. Oh, now stop crying. That isn't going to do you any good.
Oh, I'm crying because Aunt Mattie and Alec and everyone else in this family makes me so mad.
Aunt Mattie, Alec, fiddlesticks. They're not important. You're the only one that counts.
Oh, but I could be an actress, Granny. I could be. And I'd go to Hollywood, too, if I had the chance. But they just laugh at me because I want to make something out of myself. They think it's funny.
Esther, everyone in this world who ever dreamed about better things was laughed at. Don't you know that?
Oh, I suppose I do, but...
But there's a difference, dear, between dreaming and doing. You modern girls give me a pain. Why, when I wanted something better, I came across these plains in a prairie schooner with your grandfather. And don't think for a minute it was easy, Esther Blodgett. We burned in summer, and we froze in winter. We used our guns when we needed food, and then fought the Indians to keep it. But we kept on going, and we didn't complain, because we were doing what we wanted to do. Can you understand that?
Yes, I can.
Could you do it? Could you do it even if it broke your heart? Because for every dream that you make come true, you'll pay the price in heartbreak.
I'm not afraid, Granny.
All right, then. Here. Take this money.
Oh, but Granny...
Go on, and go to your Hollywood.
But I can't take your money.
And why not?
It's your savings.
Well, I haven't got anything to save up for now, except my funeral. And I'm never going to die.
Oh, Granny, how can I ever thank you?
Good night.
Oh, Granny, Granny, darling.
Boulevard, the heart of the movie metropolis. On your right, Grauman's Chinese Theatre. Notice the paved blocks containing the hand and footprints of your favorite star. And in just a few minutes, we'll be in Beverly Hills.
Hello? Oleander Arms Apartments. Yeah, we got a vacancy. $4. Running water, convenient to all studios, and you can look at it whenever you want. What do you do? Huh? Listen, wise guy, don't waste my time. The ad said no cowboys.
Good afternoon. My name is Esther Blodgett.
Mine's Randall. Day, week, or month?
Well, it's a little hard to say. You see, I'm going into the movies.
Well, take it for a week. It'll break the jump to Beverly Hills. Sign here.
Are all the studios really near here?
All except Gaumont British.
I suppose the best way to get a job is to go straight to the studios, isn't it?
Oh.
I haven't any illusions, you know. I'm perfectly willing to begin with a little bit of a part, or even as an extra.
$4, please, in advance.
Come in.
I beg your pardon. Is this the Central Casting Office?
Yes.
I'd like to register for extra work, please.
To register? How long have you been in Hollywood?
It's nearly a month now.
Well, you know, we have 12,416 extras registered with us now. That's 16 times as many as we can use each working day. Why, we haven't put anyone on our register in over 2 years.
Oh, I see.
Come over here. I want to show you something.
Yes, Central Casting.
Those 4 girls operate our switchboard.
Yes.
Every time one of those little lights flashes, it's someone asking for a job. And every time a girl says, try later, it means there isn't any job. We can't keep the girls at the switchboard long. They go crazy. And every one of those little lights thought it was going to be a star. Do you still want to go into movies? You know what your chances are. 1 in 100,000.
But maybe I'm that one.
Afternoon, Miss Blodgett.
Any phone calls for me, Mr. Randall?
No. Jesse Lasky and Sammy Goldwyn must be writing you letters instead. How was their luck today?
There wasn't any.
Maybe you don't go at it right.
If I haven't learned in 3 months, I guess I never will. But I'm not giving up.
Hey, Esther!
Hello, Danny.
Hello, McGuire. How's the big assistant director? And say, how's about some rent?
Never mind that. Listen, Esther, I got to speak to you right away. Come in the parlor.
Danny, what's the matter?
Remember when you first came here, I said I'd keep my eye out for a job for you? Well, believe it or not, I've got one.
Danny, that's wonderful. When do I go to the studio?
Well, you don't exactly go to the studio.
Oh, it's on location.
Well, it isn't exactly on location either. It isn't really a movie job at all. It's to be a waitress.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it is kind of a movie job in a way if you look at it right.
You said it was a waitress.
Yeah, but it's waitressing for Casey Burke, the big director over at our studio. He's throwing a party tonight, and there'll be a lot of big people there. I bet there'll be any number of big directors. And if you're there, maybe they'll notice you.
I could make them notice me.
Sure you could. This is your chance, Esther.
My chance. All right, I'll do it, Danny.
Good girl.
Hello? Mr. Burke's residence?
Let me speak to Mr. Oliver Niles in quick.
Who, sir?
Oliver Niles. Niles, the producer.
Yes, sir. Oh, Mr. Niles.
Yes?
It's for you, sir.
Thank you. I'll take it inside. Hello? Oliver Niles speaking.
Hello, Niles. This is your publicity department.
Well, what is it, Libby?
Your publicity department begs to advise you that your star, Mr. Norman Maine, has once again been thrown in the Los Angeles jug.
What?
Yes. Mr. Norman Maine, America's Prince Charming, was apprehended driving down Wilshire Boulevard with a siren going full blast. He explained he was a tree surgeon on a maternity case.
Well, where is he now?
I bailed him out an hour ago. He ought to be at Breaks any minute.
Will it be in the papers?
No, it won't be in the papers. But that's a nice, expensive hobby of yours. Keeping Mr. Maine's informal entertainments out of the public press.
Now, look, Libby, I don't care what it costs, but...
Evening, Norman.
Never mind, Libby. He's here now. I'll call you back.
Hi, Oliver. You look worried about something.
Do I?
Well, go ahead and say it. I've got it coming to me.
Oh, don't make it any tougher for me, Norman. I don't want to stand here and preach.
Yeah, I know. The costs are going up and the grosses are going down.
Oh, no, it isn't that, Norman. I've made a lot of money with you. I can stand a loss or two, but, well, I hate to see you go the way of so many others.
I tell you, why don't you get Lloyd's to insure you against me?
You're a great star, Norman, but you're starting to fall apart.
And just what do you mean by that?
Oh, the first signs are always the same, Norman. Not being able to remember your lines, the cameraman struggling to cover up your hangovers, all because you've got to have a good time every day, every night. I've warned you for a long time, Norman.
Okay, Oliver. You're a swell guy. You won't lose any money on me, I'll promise you that. I'll be ready for the curtains when the time comes. And when it does, here's my epitaph. For amusement only. Let's get back to that party.
Hors d'oeuvre, Mr. Maine. The caviar's very good.
No, thank you. Oh. Yes, please. Very beautiful. I mean, very good. Never seen you around here before.
I'm just working for the night.
Hey, come back here. I'm starving. Well, let's see. Which would you take?
Well?
I believe I'll take caviar.
Norman.
Hi, Anita. Where have you been?
Looking for you, mostly. Come and join the party.
Wait a second. Caviar, anchovies...
Oh, take the tray away, please. Mr. Maine doesn't care for any more. Do you, Normie?
No, Normie doesn't care for any more. Greetings.
Oh.
You mind if I help?
In the kitchen. Won't they miss you?
Oh, no, they'll just look under the table, and when they see I'm not there, they'll forget the whole matter. What's your name?
Esther Blodgett.
My name's Maine.
I know.
What's so funny?
I was thinking about all your fans. How surprised they'd be if they could see you now helping me put plates away.
They don't know my finer side.
He'd be pretty envious of me, meeting you in person this way.
Tell me, you disappointed?
Yes. Now you've done it.
Never mind. It makes the room look lived in. Why are you disappointed in me?
I was sitting right behind you in the Hollywood Bowl that night you didn't want to be photographed and you smashed the photographer's camera.
Yes, I'm told I crept into many a heart that night.
Oh, I'll never be able to explain this.
You've got very pretty
You
hair.
better get out of here.
And a sensitive mouth. And a charming little... Anita, darling.
Precisely. Why are you in here instead of with the rest of the guests?
I just want to be helpful.
Oh, I see. Are you sure there was no other attraction?
Well, it might be that my old mania for putting plates away is coming back on me again.
It's rather odd that I always know where I can find you if there's a pretty girl around.
It's not only odd, it's embarrassing. And we aren't married, darling, so...
You're being deliberately insulting, Norman. I put up with enough...
dear, don't lose your temper. Remember, we must try to keep the voice low. I know you'll excuse us if we go on with our work.
Oh, please. Let me help.
Put that plate down.
Oh, Mr. Maine, get up. He's unconscious.
Unconscious? Now see what you've done.
Oh, but I didn't do anything. I didn't...
Hey,
Oh,
help me up, will you?
are you hurt?
No more than usual. Listen to that. The wolves are on us. Come on, we've got to get out of
But
here.
I can't. The dishes aren't finished.
Oh, yes, they are. What? Come on.
That's my house, Mr. Maine, the one with the oleander bush.
Oh, right.
Well,
I'll bet I know what you're going to say now.
what?
Good night.
Good night, and thanks.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Do you realize that all I've found out about you is that you're foolish enough to want to go into pictures?
Why is it foolish? Look at you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Now, I'd like to go into this matter rather thoroughly.
Oh, that's
so why don't we
awfully
go
nice
up to
of you.
my place and talk it over?
Oh, no. Thank you very much, but I really must say good night.
Oh, now, wait a minute. The least I can do is to see you to your door. Will I see you again?
I hope so.
Has anyone ever told you that you're lovely?
No?
Well, now you know.
Thank you.
This is hard to say, but I want to say it anyway. On the screen, I'm a... well, you know. In private life, I'm... well, you know. But whatever I do, I still respect lovely things. And you're lovely. Do you understand that?
Yes, I think I do.
And it's not that bump on the head that's doing this either.
I'm glad.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yes?
Do you mind if I take just one more look?
Good night.
Good night.
The Lux Radio Theatre presentation of A Star is Born continues in just a moment. In the meantime, let's imagine we are in the living room of an American home. A husband and wife are listening to the Lux Radio Theatre. It's intermission time.
Oh, this is a marvelous play, Joe.
Sure is. But then I go for Gaynor anytime.
She is lovely.
Come to think of it, she reminds me of you a little. There's something about you that...
Joe, if I'm anything like Janet Gaynor, the only resemblance is in our complexions. I take care of my skin the same way she does, with Lux toilet soap.
It's really that good, is it?
Good. It's a soap with active lather. It really gets your skin thoroughly clean.
Thoroughly clean? What do you mean?
Well, if you let dirt and stale powder and rouge stay on your skin, they work in and stop up your pores. That ruins the complexion. Your pores get enlarged. Haven't you ever heard of cosmetic skin?
Cosmetic skin? What's that?
Well, who is there who has it? Oh, Sally Hanford. You know how dull-looking her skin always is.
Pity she didn't know about that soap you use. One look at you ought to sell Lux soap to any girl.
Shh. Here comes the second act.
Robert Montgomery, Janet Gaynor, Lionel Stander, and May Robeson continue in A Star is Born. A few hours have passed since Norman Maine left Esther at her doorstep. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. In the bedroom of Oliver Niles' home, the telephone jangles wildly. Niles, half asleep, gropes blindly for the receiver.
Hello? Hello?
Hello? This Oliver Niles?
Yes, it's Oliver Niles.
This is Norman.
What is it? Who?
Norman Maine.
Norman? What have you done now?
You're not in jail, are you?
Oh, no. Oliver, I have met a girl.
Oh, so that's it again.
Oliver, this girl, she's beautiful.
Yeah, she's beautiful, yeah. Yes, I know. You want me to give her a screen test?
Oliver, this girl has wonderful possibilities. She's got something. I know it.
You know it. You knew all the others had something, too.
No. I tell you, Oliver, she has that sincerity and honestness, that makes great actresses. I'm so sure of this girl that I want to do the test with her myself. Tomorrow morning, Oliver. Oliver.
What?
Tomorrow morning, screen test.
Yes. Anything.
That's fine, Oliver. I knew you'd appreciate this little tip. I've got another one in the 6th tomorrow. Now, you try and get a little sleep, old man. Good night, Oliver.
Is this light too hard?
Move that gobble over there.
Get that inky spot.
All right. This is just a test, gentlemen. Get going.
All set, Mr. Burke.
All right, then, let's take it. Ready, Norman?
Ready?
Ready, Miss, what's your name?
Esther Black.
Okay.
He'll soon know your name, Esther. The whole world's going to know it.
But I'm so scared. Maybe I better not try it today.
Oh, come on now. Don't be foolish. They all had to go through this. Crawford, Lombard, Myrna Loy, and Esther Blasi.
All right. I'm ready.
All set, Burke.
Quiet.
This is the take.
Roll 'em.
Quiet, everybody. Please.
Action.
The last time I saw you was the only time in my life I ever wanted to be a man.
I think I prefer you as a woman.
You know why I wanted to be a man?
No, why?
Cut.
You'll sign right there, Miss Blodgett.
There, Mr. Niles.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Niles.
I may as well tell you that my whole organization thinks I've gone a little nuts to sign you. Maybe they're right.
I hope they aren't.
Well, we won't know either way for a while, will we? You look like a nice girl. I think I'm going to like you. That's not important. I think the public will like you. That is important.
I know it is.
We're going to change your name, of course. Esther Blodgett is, well, you understand. From now on, your name is Lester. Vicky Lester.
Vicky Lester. Vicky Lester. Why, it's beautiful.
Good evening, everybody. This is Billy Moon, your own Billy the Hollywood Star Chaser. Flash. Oliver Niles Studio discovers a new starlet, a Cinderella of the Rockies. Her name is Vicky Lester. Those who have peeked tell me she couldn't be more Davoon. She's putting in her training period now, and in a few months we may get a look at those fair features. The best of luck to Vicky Lester from her future fans.
Listen, you dress people. We're shooting on the set this morning, not in the commissary. Shake it up.
Morning, Mabel.
Good morning, Mr. Maine. What'll be this morning?
Oh, the usual, Mabel.
Orange juice and bicarbonated soda.
Make it 2 bicarbs, but it was a very successful party last night.
Acme Trucking Company. No, the Mrs. Smith is not in. Hello, Acme Trucking Company. No, Mrs. Smith's not in.
What goes on over there?
Vicky Lester. She's rehearsing again.
Bring that stuff over to her table, will you?
Acme Trucking Company. No, the Mrs. Smith is not in.
Hello, Acme.
No, Smith ain't in. Acme Trucking Company.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith is not. Oh, Norman.
What's this between you and Smith?
I've got a part. It's one line, but it's in a picture.
Oh, so it's ambition that made you break that date with me last night, eh?
Well, I had to be here so early this morning.
Yeah, so did I. I had to stay up all night to make it, too.
You started your picture, haven't you?
Oh, we're still in the testing stage. Can't seem to find a girl for the lead.
Gee, you think with all the girls there
Yeah,
are...
but this girl's got to be different. She's got to be little and cute and sweet and... Well, blow me down.
What?
Well, close these tired old eyes.
Norman, what's the matter?
Come on, hurry up.
Where are we going?
Oliver Niles' office, on the run. I tell you, Oliver, surefire. You've gone through the whole casting directory, haven't you?
I'll work day and night, Mr. Niles.
And I'll work with her, Oliver.
I can be mean or nasty or anything you want, Mr. Niles.
If she clicks, Oliver, you've got a star overnight. Well, what do you say?
Okay, she's in.
Esther. She's fainted.
And just as your star chaser predicted on this program some months ago, little Vicky Lester has made good. Just how good was known early this evening after the preview of her first picture in which she plays a featured role opposite Norman Maine. Norman may be starred, but he is decidedly not the main attraction.
Yeah, it's cooler out here. You see those lights, Esther? Down there? That's Hollywood.
It's wonderful, isn't it? A crazy quilt.
No, that's a carpet spread for you. It's yours from now on, you know. It's come, Esther. A star is born. You'll have everything in the world you want. And I hope it'll make you happy.
Hasn't it you?
Well, there's one thing I've never had. Lots of times I've told myself I'd found it, but I always knew I was lying. Still, I never stopped looking for it.
Maybe it'll come.
I think it has come, Esther. And I wish it weren't too late.
Oh, but it's not too late.
You can't throw away your life the way I've thrown away mine and have anything left that's good enough now.
You can. Norman, you can.
Oh, you mustn't tell me that, Esther. I'm so afraid I'll believe it.
I want to, Norman. I want you to believe it because I love you, too.
Folks, maybe I'm not thinking fast this morning. What are you two trying to say?
Just this, Oliver. We're going to get married.
You're going to what?
I guess I didn't read that line very well. I'll try it again. We're going to get married.
Both of
to
us.
each other. What do you think of that?
When? Where?
Well, we're going to elope in the conventional manner.
What's the matter, Mr. Niles?
He's trying to decide whether it's good for the studio.
Is it?
It is. And bless you, my children. When's it going to happen?
Well, we thought we'd just sneak out sometime.
Sure, but you mustn't hurt people's feelings. Matt Libby, for instance, he has a very sensitive nature. He'd feel offended if he didn't have a chance to congratulate you. Get Libby in.
I've been trying to keep him out.
Listen to this. The screen's ideal romance blossomed into breathtaking reality today when Vicky Lester and Norman Maine, America's dream lovers, slipped quietly through the portals of holy matrimony. How does that sound?
Horrible.
But you see, we're going to elope.
Sure you are. It'll be the biggest elopement this town ever saw. We'll get a tie-up with the Army. I'll have you escorted all the way down to Yuma, Arizona by 20 of their new bombing planes. From there, you can make personal appearances in Denver, Salt Lake, Seattle, Vancouver. Let's make this thing international.
Norman, is he going with us?
Say, Niles, don't you think we can work this thing out better alone? No use bothering the happy couple with all these details.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't realize we were in the way. While you're settling the details, you don't mind if I go out and buy this woman a ring, do you?
Sure, go ahead. We want everything legal.
Come on, honey. See you later, Oliver.
There's a charming couple for you. A nice girl like Vicky and public nuisance number one.
Norman's all right, Libby. You'll pardon my pointing Vicky's business as her own. It doesn't require any comments.
I didn't comment. I just said it's a rotten
You go
shame.
ahead and plan the elopement.
What's the matter? You sore or something about this elopement?
No, I'm not sore. Go on, Libby, beat it. I'm busy.
And here's the Hollywood question mark for this week, folks. What famous star, since his marriage to another famous star, has turned over a brand new leaf and is now taking a non-alcoholic honeymoon? But why do his friends think his bride came about 6 performances too late as far as the public is concerned? Because the star's last 6 performances have been what is politely known as turkeys, box office flopolas. Yes, sir, folks, it was a gay life and a short one.
But, Norman, I just can't believe it. Would you mind telling me again, very slowly?
That's your new house. This is your new grass. And those are your new trees, and here's your new husband. Now, come on. The garden's been waiting long enough for you. Do you like it?
It's the most wonderful surprise anybody ever had. And there I was, thinking we were going to live in the beach house.
Oh, we'll keep the house at the beach. But this is special. This is our castle, where we'll never use ugly words like contracts and pictures and careers. When we come in those gates, we'll check the studio outside.
Oh, Norman.
Hey, hold that pose. That's it. Get it, Otto?
Got it.
Caption. Their honeymoon never ends. How are you?
Well, this is a surprise, Libby, and a very unpleasant one.
Oh, just dropped over to welcome you home. How are you, Mrs. Maine?
Fine, thanks. Hello, Otto.
Hello, Miss Lester. Hiya, Norman. Nice little place you got here. Very tasty.
Otto, if you didn't like it, we'd sell it.
All right, let's get some pictures. Now, if the bride will just sit here and the groom stand behind her, we'll have something unique. Swell. All right, Otto. Caption, their honeymoon still continues.
Hello.
Ah, the producer. Their honeymoon ceases abruptly. Hello, Oliver.
Hello, Norman. Glad you're back. Hello, Vicky.
Hello, Oliver.
Am I interrupting?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, we just want a couple more.
Well, that's enough of both of them. What they're asking for is the exclusives of Miss Lester alone.
Oh, I see. Come on, Oliver. Let's you and I get exclusive.
Sure.
Stay for dinner, Oliver.
All right now, Miss Lester. We'll take one of you right over here.
Well, Oliver, what's on your mind? How's the dividend situation?
Oh, very pleasant. I think we'll show $2 million on the next quarter.
Oh, boy. That was a smart move of mine to sell my stock, wasn't it? Well, anyway, you can thank me for some of those dividends of yours. Well, can't you?
Oh, sure.
That was a little too quick. The Enchanted Hour was a smash hit, wasn't it?
Made Vicky a star overnight.
Yes, and it should have. Well, what about me?
Let's wait and talk business at the office, Norman,
Didn't they like me?
Well, maybe the part wasn't just right.
It was the best part of the year. Now, look here, Oliver. Do you think I'm slipping?
Norman, can you take it?
Go ahead.
The tense is wrong, Norman. You're not slipping. You've slipped.
Well, my fan mail's still pretty big.
Norman, fans will write anybody for a photograph. It only costs 3 cents for the stamp. That makes photographs cheaper than wallpaper. But every quarter they pay for a theater ticket. Buys them the right to be a critic. Your last few performances, Norman, haven't pleased your critics.
Oh. Remember I told you I'd be ready for the curtains when the time came? Well, here it is. Let's call off the contract. And no hard feelings.
Oh, we're not quitting yet, either of us. There's no explaining these things. We've all seen how quick the public turns. Well, maybe we can turn it back. I've got a swell script lined up for you.
Oh, about Esther. If you think I'm going to get in her way...
Well, as a matter of fact, as it happens, there isn't anything for her in this story. I'd more or less planned to star her in a picture of her own, maybe with that young Pemberton opposite her. He's coming along very nicely.
Good for young Pemberton. All right, Oliver. We'll make a try at it. And let's hope it's not too late.
Yes, Norman. Let's hope it's not too late.
We pause for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. It's been our custom between the acts of our plays to bring you little glimpses of Hollywood, to give you a view of film activities from backstage. We continue that custom with a word from John Leroy Johnston, Western manager of Fawcett Publications and managing editor of Screen Book and Hollywood Magazine. The last time we met, he interviewed me. Tonight, with the tables turned, I'll drop my first question by asking Mr. Johnston what he'd like to be interviewed about.
Well, Mr. DeMille, that's easy. After all, the product that makes this program possible is Lux Toilet Soap. There's a commodity that's dedicated to charm and beauty, as evidenced by its tremendous popularity among the screen's most attractive women. From what I found out myself, visiting the stars, and from what our writers tell me, Lux Toilet Soap has no more enthusiastic boosters than the biggest names in Hollywood.
I still would like to know the subject of our interview.
Well, I'd like to express a few of my views on beauty, or rather on the most beautiful women of motion pictures in 20 years. They say a fool walks in where angels fear to tread, so here I am, a perfect casting job.
What's the basis of your choice? The best subjects for your magazine covers?
No, magazine covers are chosen to acknowledge the popularity of certain established or rising young players. I'm guiding myself by what strikes me as being the typical American conception of beauty. By this, I mean normal, charming, finely chiseled features, clear, expressive eyes, intelligence, poise, well, to be brief and honest, loveliness.
Which predominates in your list? The old-fashioned type of yesterday or the athletic girl of today?
Frankly, I don't believe the American ideal of real beauty has or will ever change. I think every man admires the lovely, dainty, feminine woman. If she's truly beautiful, she'll look beautiful in crinolines or slacks. So, from the silent days onward, here's my all-American team. Selections representing every section of the continent. Alice Joyce, Corinne Griffith, Clara Kimball Young, Billy Dove, Mary Nolan, Joan Crawford, Janet Gaynor, Jeanette MacDonald, Dolores Del Rio, Norma Shearer, and Madeline Carroll. And for a second team, I'd say Ann Harding, Carol Lombard, Joan Bennett, Anita Louise, Madge Bellamy, Virginia Bruce, Mary Astor, Gloria Stewart, Olivia de Havilland, Mary Bryan, and Marla Shelton.
Now, offhand, I can't say whether or not I agree with your choice, Mr. Johnson. But I wish I could have all your all-American beauties in one picture.
And I wish you'd provide a police escort so that I can sneak out of here before folks start throwing things. I'm on my way.
Good night. Back to Robert Montgomery, Janet Gaynor, Lionel Stander, and May Robeson in A Star is Born. One year has passed. As Esther rose steadily in public favor, Norman dropped just as steadily into oblivion. At his own request, his contract was canceled, and he began to devote his time to making Esther happy. But she was busy at the studio, shaping a career such as he had thrown away. And left to himself, Norman slipped gradually back into his old ways. It's the night of the Academy Award dinner. At a table in the corner, Esther and Oliver Niles wait anxiously for Norman to arrive. The master of ceremonies is speaking.
We have already applauded with our hearts as well as our hands. While awards have been given to those gentlemen...
I wish Norman would come. Do you suppose anything's happened to him?
Well, of course not. He's just been held up in traffic. Now, you think about that nice statuette you're going to get.
Or rather,
go on, listen.
One lady. We present to her the Academy Award for the finest performance of the year. The unforgettable Anna in Dream Without End. Miss Vicki Lester.
Go on, Esther. Get your award.
I wish Norman was here.
Miss Lester, if you please.
Thank you.
What more can I say, Miss Lester? This statuette says it for all of us.
Ladies and gentlemen, when something like this happens to you, and you try to tell how you feel about it, you find that out of all the words in the world, there are only two that really mean anything. Thank you. All I can do is say them to you from my heart. All I can do is tell you that I'll keep... Norman!
That was a very pretty speech, my dear, and I want to be the first to congratulate you on that valuable little piece of bric-a-brac. And now I want to make a speech. Gentlemen of the Academy and fellow suckers, I got one of those once for the best performance once. It don't mean a thing. People get them every year. What I want's a special award.
Norman, please.
Something nobody else can get. I want a statuette for the worst performance of the year. I want 3 statuettes for the 3 worst performances of the year. I earned them, and everybody that saw those last masterpieces of mine knows I've earned them. What I'm here to find out is, do I get them or do I get them? Answer me yes or no.
Music, quick.
Answer me yes or no.
Norman.
All right, Esther, all right. I've got him. Come on, Norman. Come over to the table.
Oh, hello, Vicky, dear. Allow me to congratulate you. You must be terribly proud and happy tonight.
Thank you. Norman, dear.
Oh, God. What have I... Somebody give me a drink.
Who is it?
Oliver Niles calling.
Oliver, come in.
How are you, Esther?
Oh, Oliver, I've missed you. Everybody's missed you. Sit down. Did you have a nice trip?
Well, a 3-month tour over the theater circuit scarcely comes under the head of pleasure. By the way, they're screaming for your pictures all across the country. Miss Lester, if I may talk shop, you're a
Thank you. That's good to hear.
You've been crying.
A little.
Why?
Why, I guess maybe I'm a little worried about this next picture.
Oh, you needn't be. I've seen the first week's work. You're headed for another Academy Award this year. How's Norman?
He's trying awfully hard, Oliver.
Has he been... Is he all right?
He's gone to a sanatorium. You see, he really wants to stop drinking, and I think he could only...
Well, perhaps if he were going to work again, it'd be some encouragement.
Oliver, could you do that?
I might be able to manage it.
Oh, thank you. But he mustn't ever know I told you.
He won't know, Vicky. And you mustn't worry. I want you to be good in this picture.
I'll try, Oliver. That's the least I can do for you.
And one more for the book, folks. What star, recently released from a sanatorium where he underwent a rescue, is now hanging around the Santa Anita racetrack while he gets into shape for a comeback? Your guess is as good as mine, and mine's no guess.
What do you pick for today,
Hello, Charlie.
Well, hello, Mr. Maine. Haven't seen you in a long time.
Oh, no, I've been resting. Ginger ale, please.
Ginger ale and what?
Ginger ale and ginger ale.
A new leaf?
A whole new book. Thanks.
Shake it up, Charlie.
Hello, Libby.
Why, it's Mr. America of yesteryear. Do they let you wander around now without a keeper?
I'm a trustee now. Didn't expect to find you here at Santa Anita. What do they do with the actors when you're away?
Oh, they cut them in slices and fry them with eggs. I suppose you'll be here all the time, now that you've retired from the hurly-burly of the silver screen.
Well, we're staying down at the beach house now, and it's pretty lonesome with Esther away working all day.
Well, I wouldn't squawk about that if I were you. It's nice somebody in the family's making a living.
Say, go a little slow, Libby. I don't want to forget we're friends.
Friends, my eye. Listen, I got you out of your jams because it was my job, not because I was your friend. I don't like you. I never did like you. Nothing made me happier than to see all those cute little pranks of yours catch up with you and land you on your celebrated face.
Pretty work, Libby. Always wait till they're down and then kick 'em, eh?
Hey, listen. You fixed yourself nice and comfortable. You can live off your wife now. She'll buy the drinks and put up with you even if nobody else will.
Why, you...
Take a swing at me, will you? Get up, you four-star ham, and I'll knock you down for keeps.
Yeah, throw him out. Get up and get out of here.
Yeah, throw him out. Don't bother to throw him out. He's harmless.
Well, all right, Mr. Libby, if you say so.
Sure, let him go. What can he do? He can't fight any better than he can act.
You okay, Maine?
Yeah, I'm okay. Give me a scotch. Double.
Vicky, you'll be ill. Why don't you try and get a little sleep?
But he's been gone 4 days. 4 days and not a word. Oliver, I can't. I just can't. Will you?
Surely. Hello? No, this is Oliver Niles speaking. What? Oh, thank heaven. Where? In the night court. He's all right, Vicky. He isn't hurt. I'll go right down and get him out.
What is it? What's wrong?
He's been arrested on disorderly conduct charge.
I'm going with you.
Vicky, please, it isn't any place for you. If it gets in the papers...
What do I care about the papers? Norman's in trouble, and I'm going to him.
Alfred Hinkle, known as Norman Maine. Where is he?
Here.
Drunk and disorderly. Crashed car into tree. Resisted arrest and injured one of arresting officers. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Were you Norman Maine, the actor?
Yeah.
You've come pretty low, haven't you? 90 days in the city jail.
Wait, please. Your Honor, I'm his wife.
Yes, I recognize you, Miss Lester.
Please, I promise you, Judge, this will never happen again. I'll be responsible for him if you'll just not send him there.
Do you realize that this man, when drunk, is obviously a menace to public safety?
Yes.
Do you realize, too, the responsibility you would be assuming to the court and to the Commonwealth?
I do.
Very well. Sentence suspended. Prisoner remanded to custody of wife. You may take him home, Miss Lester.
Norman, are you all right, dear?
Yeah. I'm so tired, Esther.
How is he, Esther?
Talk low. He's still asleep in there.
Oh, well, that's the best thing for him.
Oh, it's awful to see this happen to someone you love. And know in your heart that it can't get any better.
Do you still love him, Vicky? Or do you just feel sorry for him?
Oh, it's so hard to tell where one leaves off and the other begins. I only know that all I can do now is stay with him and try to help him.
So will I, Vicky. Between us, we'll take care of him.
You're very fond of him, aren't you, Oliver?
I'm very fond of both of you.
That's why I know you'll understand what I have to tell you. And I think that after what happened last night, you already know what it is. I can't do any more pictures. I'm going away for good with Norman.
But, Vicky, you can't do that. Well, you're at the very peak of your success. You've worked so hard to achieve it.
Yes, I've worked hard, Oliver, and what difference would that have made if you and Norman hadn't worked harder to help me?
Oh, no. No one can help people to careers. You made your own career, and it's your life.
That's what's been wrong, Oliver. I thought it all out. Maybe if I hadn't been away from him so much, last night and what went before, it wouldn't have happened. Too late to think about that now. But it may not be too late to go away with him and start over again somewhere.
It's your life you're giving up, Vicky.
So I can try to give Norman back his. Can you honestly tell me I'm wrong to do it?
No. No, Vicky. I can't honestly tell you that.
Then there won't be any more Vicky Lester, Oliver.
Goodbye, Vicky Lester. You're a swell girl. And good luck, Mrs. Norman Maine.
Goodbye, Oliver. And thank you. Norman.
This is Maine coming in to apologize again, darling.
Norman, have you been out there long? Oliver Niles was here.
Yes, I know. I thought you would be. You're looking sad, darling. What other troubles have you got?
None. I was just playing a scene with myself.
Now, look. I'm just coming out of the jitters, and you're just going into them. This is a swell household.
Isn't it?
I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll promise to brace up if you'll go on the wagon.
I guess I have been drinking too much.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be an athlete.
Gee, you mean with great big muscles and everything?
Roughly speaking, yes.
Are you going to join the YMCA?
No, that costs too much. I'm going wading in the Pacific.
Now?
Sure.
You won't go out too far, darling.
A little water once in a while wouldn't hurt me any.
Crazy.
Well, if you don't mind, I'll be running along. Could you have a hot some hot soup for me when I come back?
Some hot soup.
And I'll make the sandwiches.
Norman, do you have to?
Give me a kiss, honey. I'll see you later.
Don't be long.
I won't. Oh, darling.
Yes?
Do you mind if I take just one more look? So long, sweet.
Will that be all, Miss Lester?
Have you packed everything?
Yes, ma'am. The bags, the trunk, everything.
Have the car brought around, please.
I'm her grandmother.
Can't go in.
Esther. Granny, darling. Well, I'm so glad to see you. What made you come?
Oh, I know when I'm needed. Here, girl, please get out, will you? I want to talk to my granddaughter.
Yes, ma'am.
I got here just as quickly as I could.
But I'm going home. I sent you a wire yesterday.
Sit down. Now, is it true that you're going to quit the movies?
I never want to hear of them again.
What are you running away from, child?
I'm not running away. It's just that I can't go on. My heart isn't in it anymore.
You remember I told you once, if you got what you wanted, you'd have to give your heart in exchange. And you said you were willing. Do you remember that?
I remember.
Well, you got more than you bargained for. More fame, more success, even more personal happiness. And maybe more unhappiness. But you did make a bargain. And now you're whining over it. I wouldn't be very proud of myself if I were you, Esther.
I'm not, Granny. But my mind's made up.
Oh, well, then I'm very sorry I lent you that money to come here. It was just thrown away, wasted.
I know. Well, I want to be strong, but I can't go on. I can't.
But you must. Tragedy is a test of courage, Esther. I never knew Norman Maine. He was sweet to me in the letter he wrote when you were married. He said that you told him how much I had meant to you. And I know how much you must have meant to him. I can't believe that wherever he is, Esther, he's very proud knowing that all that his love did for you was to make you a quitter.
The car is ready, Miss Lester. We'll have to go now to make the train.
Put the car back in the garage. We're going to stay.
Oh, Granny. Oh, my Esther, my darling.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great occasion. The entire picture industry has come to the Chinese Theater for this opening tonight. It has come to pay tribute to a great star on her return to the screen. The girl who has won the heart of Hollywood, the girl who has won the heart of the world, Miss Vicki Lester. And now, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Lester's car has just driven up. Yes, it is her. I'll see if I can get her to say a few words. Here she comes now. No, wait, she's stopping, folks. What is it, Jim? Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lester has stopped at the footprints of her late husband, Norman Maine. She's a little upset. I don't think we're going to get her up here. No, wait now. She's pulling herself together. She seems to be all right, ladies and gentlemen, and she's approaching the microphone now. Miss Lester, will you... Miss Lester, this microphone is on an international hookup. Throughout the world, your fans are hoping you'll say a few words to them. Will you, please?
Of course. Hello, everybody. This is Mrs. Norman Maine.
For their splendid performances, our thanks to Miss Gaynor and Mr. Montgomery, who will return in a few minutes. It was most appropriate that our play should end with a scene at Grauman's Chinese Theatre. It was there that the most thrilling premieres in Hollywood history have been held. There also originated the spectacular stage productions, copied though never equaled the world over. Grauman's Chinese is also famous for the hand and footprints of the stars recorded in the courtyard of the theater. To make your mark there means lifelong membership in Hollywood's Legion of Honor. The founder and guiding light of that theater is here tonight. One of the greatest showmen and best friends that motion pictures have ever had, Sid Grauman. Sid, how did you happen to get that idea of the hand and footprints?
Well, before answering that, Cecil, I'd like to say something you overlooked. That it was your picture, The King of Kings, that opened the Chinese Theater. It was a great break for me. For your question, the answer is pure accident. I walked right into it. While we were building the theater, I accidentally happened to step in some soft concrete, and there it was. So I went to Mary Pickford immediately. Mary put her foot into it.
And so became the first to sign your concrete autograph album, huh?
Yes, along with Norma Talmadge and Douglas Fairbanks. But the latest we have done, so are William Powell and Myrna Loy. who used to dance in my prologues.
Well, with your theater and footprints, Sid, few people realize that you've helped scores of players on their way to fame, like Raquel Torres, who started as one of your usherettes, Raymond Navarro, or Jackie Coogan, whom you discovered.
Yes, it's a strange how things work out, Cecil. I used to put on Sunday morning concerts in the $1 Million Theater in Los Angeles. Before the prologue and picture was shown, a young singer asked me for... After hearing him, I said, "You're on, but the price is only $10 for the concert." He said he needed the work, and if I'd give him 6 concerts in a row, the $10 would be all right. I did. His name, Lawrence Tibbett. To this day, one of my best friends is Charlie Chaplin. Before he ever appeared on the screen, Charlie worked for me on the stage in San Francisco, and I gave him a letter of introduction that brought him to the screen. I claim no credit for this. It just happened. And now a little Shirley Temple story. When footprints, she asked me if I mind if she took off her shoes and socks. I told her that we couldn't do that because she'd get her feet all full of concrete. As usual, she had an answer ready. "We can get some warm water and a towel, and I'll wash them very carefully." "But why?" I asked. "Do you want to make your footprints in bare feet?" "Mr. Grauman," she said, "I wrestle. If I don't stop now, there's no telling when I will. Good luck to you and to this splendid radio theater, which has come to be as much a part of Hollywood as the excellent commodity it represents. Lux Toilet Soap." Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. Goodbye. And now, as the stars they are, Janet Gaynor and Robert Montgomery.
I'm glad to be able to take this curtain call, Mr. DeMille, because it gives me a chance to say something that I really want to say as regards The Star is Born. Often when a picture is a success, all the credit goes to the individuals who happen to star in it. We're inclined to pass by the off-screen personalities who made that picture possible. To Mr. David O. Selznick, the producer of The Star is Born, and Mr. William Wellman, who so brilliantly directed it, and all the others who contributed, I am very grateful. But now, what about Mr. Montgomery? I hear some talk around town that you're to go east.
Yes, Montgomery the actor is about to become Montgomery the farmer. I'm going back to the farm for a spell.
Yes, you told us that some months ago, and you haven't reached there yet. I'm beginning to think that your back to the soil movement is just a fable.
At least it provides Bob with some swell stories about that neighbor of his back there, Zeb Davis.
Yeah, Zeb is on the way to becoming a national character. What's he done lately, Bob?
Well, Zeb probably won't speak to me for telling this one on him, but here goes. Zeb has a wife who likes to keep him, well, shall we say, under control. Not long ago, she decided that Zeb ought to get a new car. Zeb couldn't quite figure that out because the one he had was only 11 years old. So he got a new car. Well, the Davises were having a little party one night when Mrs. D told Zeb to drive to town for some ice cream and to be very careful of the car. It's a 16-mile trip, and Zeb sort of hit her up on the way back. He was just about to turn up the road to the house when he stepped on the gas instead of the brake. He ran into a ditch, turned over a couple of times, and ended up with the car on top of him and the ice cream in his hand. A couple of the boys ran up and tried to pull him out, but Zeb was stuck. He didn't say a word until the boys started to get the car off him, and then he let loose. "Leave me alone," he hollered. "Leave me alone and get that ice cream home before it melts. There's enough trouble around here as it is."
That's very good, Bob. I hope you'll find Zeb completely recovered and with a lot more stories.
As you said, Mr. DeMille, this was my first appearance here. But really, I felt quite at home because I'm well acquainted with the product behind this program. I'm happy to say that Lux Toilet Soap has been in my dressing room and in my home, too, for several years. I wouldn't be without it.
Thank you, Janet. And you, too, Bob, for launching our program in such distinguished fashion.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good night.
And thank you, Mr. DeMille. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your announcer, Melville Ruick. News of next week's thrilling show comes to you in just a moment from Mr. DeMille. Assisting in tonight's cast were Lou Merrill as Oliver Niles, Chester Flute as Pop, John Gibson as Danny McGuire, Margaret Brayton as Anita, Edwin Max as Master of Ceremonies, Forrest Taylor as Judge, Frank Nelson as Moon, Lucille Meredith as Maid, Grace Kern as a waitress, Myra Marsh as Miss Phillips, Sidney Newman as Director, James Eagles as Otto, Gil Patrick as Police Officer, and Ross Forrester as a photographer. Miss Gaynor and Miss Robeson appeared through courtesy of Selznick International Pictures. Mr. Montgomery, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Mr. Stander, Columbia Pictures Corporation. Mr. DeMille, Paramount. And Louis Silvers, 20th Century Fox, where he was in charge of music for the new film, Wife, Doctor, and Nurse. And here is our producer.
Not because he happens to be the star of my new film, The Buccaneer. Not because he starred in two of our biggest successes last spring. But because he happens to be, on and off the screen, a citizen of whom Hollywood is most proud. It gives me particular pleasure to announce that next Monday night, the Lux Radio Theatre stars Frederick March. And with him, Florence Eldridge, who in private life is Mrs. March. Our play is from the stage and screen success, The Outsider. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Toilet Soap, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theatre presents Frederick March, Florence Eldridge, and an all-star Hollywood cast in The Outsider. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood.
Heard on tonight's program was Afraid to Dream from You Can't Have Everything. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Thank you.